We have returned to the dungeon to speak to one VT Heroes about playing cards. And whoa, hold up. What? What? Oh, okay. All is good with the world. Snap. Yeah, we're going live with VT Heroes today, and interviewing him about tabletop games and other things which I have no idea of whatsoever, including Power Rangers. Despite the fact that I am a Power Ranger, I don't understand anything about the Sentai era and its impact on people, especially its introduction to America. So, we might learn some things. We might have some conversations. We shall see. Yeah. And the live will be saved, so I will not say anything cancelable for now. Welcome, dude. Hit the request button, and then you shall be here. And, we shall talk about the things. I don't know. We're in an interesting period of time right now where a lot of really cool projects are being made, and I feel like we should get all of the information that we can. Welcome.
Yeah.
What's good?
Chillin', man. Chillin'. What's going on?
Hey, it's working. I just got back to Philly. I spent all of last month training in the forest and like getting all my skills up. So I've learned how to use like all the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle weapons and like rope darts and stuff. And we were filming like mad fight scenes and stuff. And there was a drone photographer that like we made this really cool video with. And at the end of the week, at the end of the month, I realized that like I was kind of burnt out. So I decided to come back home and reset and go back into kung fu and meditation and studying philosophy to like clear my mind from all the activity of last month. What have you been up to?
What have I been up to? Well, you already know what I've been up to. I've been sitting here working on this game, trying to get everything popping. Making fighting card games, you know what I mean? You know, showing some of that, inspired Power Ranger love.
That's huge. What I know Power Rangers influenced it, but what era of Power Rangers and how did you get access to Power Rangers?
I mean, I guess Mighty Morphin was a lot of people started off with Mighty Morphin, man. Like, I mean, that's your jump off right there.
I know that.
Yeah, everybody started with the originals, man. Like, that's how you start.
Now is this the one with like Zach and Trini and and Tommy?
Yeah, that's the OGs, the originals, man.
And what channel was this on?
That was on Fox.
Fox? Is it like Fox Kids or was it just like regular Fox?
That was before Fox Kids.
Huh.
Like, it was on every day. It was like 5 days a week, man. You was watching Rangers.
They drop new episodes 5 days a week.
Yeah.
For some years.
Yeah. All right, see, you new guys, y'all don't know. Like, when it came to animation, TV shows, and all that stuff, weekday cartoons and weekday shows, you got a new episode every day. So your season one would be like anywhere from 30 to 50 something episodes. And whenever there was like a special story arc, it would take that whole like week. It'd be a 5-episode story arc. Like when they introduced the Green Ranger in Rangers, that was a 5-part episode. Or that was like, 5-part story.
Wow. Okay. And like, so you go to school, and when you came back, there'd just be a wall of stuff for you to watch.
Yeah. From like 3 o'clock to about 6 o'clock was like nothing but animation.
Dang. And what animation would that consist of?
X-Men, Batman, like all the good stuff. Like then you would have other channels that had like Gargoyles. Sometimes you would get Sonic. You would like pretty much all the stuff that they're trying to remake now. That was, man, we used to get that all the time.
Dang. So all the stuff that eventually came to Jetix, because like Disney Channel used to have Toon Disney.
Yeah, that was like later, man. That's
because I don't know anything before that. I'm getting hit right now.
Yo, Concrete Comics, they're on here right now. They know what I'm talking about. Like 5 days a week, man, you had your cartoons. And then you would have, because you guys don't even have Saturday morning cartoons, like that used to be a thing. Like,
So if you already had Batman and X-Men and Power Rangers all on the weekdays, what the heck came on Saturday morning?
there was a secondary Sonic cartoon. There was other shows. There was mad animation. Like there would be sometimes shows that you didn't even know was anime, like Thundercats. Yeah, there you go. Concrete Comics to talk about Ronin Warriors, because in the morning from like 6 a.m. to like 9 was cartoons. And then that would be like Ronin Warriors, Sailor Moon, Dragon Ball. Like you would get all that stuff in the morning. Then you would come home, watch Transformers, G.I. Joe, like Thundercats. Eventually, yeah, Dragon Ball went off and became a Sunday morning thing. Then they had like spin-offs of Thundercats, because that was the land version. Then they had Silverhawks, was like the air and space version. Then on Sundays they had Tiger Sharks, was like the water version. And back when Japanese studios were working with American studios, so it would be like American comic art style, but with an anime touch to it, and mad action, tons of violence.
I see, because me and my friends were watching Thundercats. My friends are like 30. They're like 26 to 30. And so we were sitting watching Thundercats. And I noticed that the animation was like really good. And I've seen He-Man, and He-Man is all right, but the animation don't hit like you're doing Thundercats. And then that
Yeah,
intro.
Thundercats is a different thing, man. That's Thundercats is actually a perfect example of when a Japanese animation studio and an American writing studio come together and make a baby. Same thing with Transformers. People think Transformers is just a Japanese product or is just an American product. Transformers actually was just a no. It was a toy line, but they didn't have names. There was no such thing as Optimus Prime. There was no such thing as Decepticons. They were just robots that turned into vehicles. They didn't have no names or nothing, no storyline. But then they were like, "Yo, we need to like bring it to the American audience. So how do we do this? We need somebody to come up with a dope story." And you know who came up with a dope story? Let's see if you can guess.
Uh, Americans.
Marvel.
Oh,
Marvel is the reason why you know them as Transformers. They gave them the names of Optimus Prime, Megatron, came up with the whole storyline of the Autobots and the Decepticons. All that was Marvel.
snap.
Yeah. So from there, it blew up.
Wow. So then how does that get us to now where, because it seems like the era of people that grew up with IPs that existed to sell products have now begun making products in order to forge IPs. It's become a really cool monetization strategy. How did we get to this point?
I think it was because like the overall scene has changed. I mean, when you created a toy line, especially in the 80s and 90s, you had to have a cartoon to go with it. Anybody who made a toy got a cartoon show. And then from there, you had to look at your cartoon as kind of like a half-hour advertisement,
I see.
because you would kill off characters and bring in new characters, so then those would become new toys. So you'd have to go out and buy those new toys. Like nowadays, people don't buy toys like that.
They don't, but they buy figurines and they buy cards.
They buy them cards. They buy them cards. That's what's important.
And what do you think? Why do you think that is? Why do you think we've switched over from purely imaginative things to things that assist our imagination in terms of how we interact with different properties?
I think part of it is the we've gone so out there and so advanced with so many different things that it's hard for newer. I don't want to say like the newer generation to be to use their imagination, but it kind of is. Like I saw a meme like a couple days ago where somebody it was a bunch of sticks. There was a bunch of sticks on the floor, and they were like, "What was that?" And everybody that grew up in the 80s and 90s was like, "Oh, those are guns." Like you knew that, like, and like back in the day, yeah, card games was fun. Like people don't go outside nowadays. You know what I mean? Like everybody's afraid of the outdoors. You know, so you don't get that much interaction. Um, I think right now, because of card games and stuff like that, it's kind of board games are kind of making a big comeback. That's helping bring people in because there's a whole indie scene that's dedicated to game development, and I think people want something different. People also want something familiar, and that's kind of like what my game is doing. You know, it brings back that love that people have for Power Rangers, and it brings back that fun you had when people would play Magic, and tons of people still play Magic, and people still play Yu-Gi-Oh, but just combining all those like nostalgia like feelings all into one thing, and then making it feel like an old school arcade fighting game. Come on, can't beat that.
No, you can't. It's a winning formula. It's informed by things that have won in the past and things that are winning right now. We live in the era of appreciating the retro, of going back in time to experience the things that we've lost and to find those again. And that's what we have. You've created it. I've even been able to do it with certain shirts and stuff, or with certain drawings and stuff. It's the reason that people are still making memes about Yu-Gi-Oh! Freaking 17 years later, however long it's been since Yu-Gi-Oh! First came on TV.
Right.
How long did it take to formulate a system that would work? Because I'm not incredibly familiar with card games, but I know there's a lot of systems at play that have to be managed at the same time, and a lot of strategy that exists. How do you create a foundation that people can build strategies on top of?
For me, it was kind of easy to go back into it because for years I've made games and card games. I just never went as like outward and public with this like I did with VT Heroes. But a lot of it is math and probabilities, a lot of play testing. I started off with like the like little I don't know, because I had made games before. So I just took ideas and play mechanics from previous games that I know worked and just kind of made this like the best of those ideas. But I mean, again, a
What's
lot
an
of
example of one?
I took a basic idea from one of the things was rock paper scissors. Everybody can understand rock paper scissors. I took a common gameplay mechanic and then put a spin on it. Like my game, you have to build your VT hero. Like you pick, which color or which hero you want. Like there's 9 different ones. Then you have to pick an element, and then you have to pick your totem, which is like your spirit animal, and that's how you build your character. And then you have a deck, which is like your moves, and those moves can be used by anybody as long as it says like say your character is like a attack level 3, you can use any attack level card as long as it's not higher than 3. You know what I mean? You can use all the level 1 cards, you can use all the level 2 cards, you can use all the level 3. But within the game, you can upgrade yourself. It's just like fighting games. Like, you know how you have super moves?
Yeah.
But you have to build up your super bar?
Right.
And then there's certain supers you need like 3 super bars to pull off?
I see.
That's how the game works. So
Huh.
you have like level 1 moves. If you say I'm a level 5 with my defense, I can do level 1 defense moves all the way up to level 5 defense moves, and then like but my attack or my power. There's all these different abilities you have. You have attack, which is like your hand to hand skill. You defense, which what defensive moves are. I mean, and they're mostly also your elements too.
Hmm.
Then you have your power, which is like weapons and your spirit animal. And then intelligence is like your boosters.
Hmm.
So you can level. You can once you start the game, if you pull off certain like intelligence moves, you can like level yourself up.
Hmm.
So then you can now be able to do like level 6 moves and all that stuff, and then you can even lower your opponents. So they might have like level 3 attack, and you can sit there and mess them up. So they can only play level 1 attack cards or
Damn.
no attack cards.
Huh.
So
Really?
it's real easy to play. Like we had little kids like jump in on it, and they figured it out. Like I might reshare one of the videos from like on Thursday for like a Throwback Thursday thing, where it shows these two little kids playing the game, and like the little girl was literally teaching her little brother like, no, you can't do that because your defense level isn't high enough.
Ah.
Like if you can figure out simple math and rock paper scissors, and you've played a fighting game before, you have figured out the game.
Huh.
Like
That's
you
dope.
can do aerial combos. You can actually link cards and like make combos.
Huh.
Yeah,
Wow. Yeah, that's tight. And it's thank you for making it freaking accessible. Cause I've tried to play certain RPGs. I can only quantify tabletop games to like video games, but video games came from tabletop games. Like it's a succession. So like
yeah,
yeah, I've played certain RPGs, just made no sense. It was number all over the place and it didn't make any sense. I tried to play Magic one time and I was just lost. There's a whole lot to be doing. So thank you for making it accessible, but also having an underlying level of strategy. It's much like how with Super Smash Brothers, it's a fighting game, but it's not as sophisticated of a fighting game as say like Street Fighter or something. But because it's not as sophisticated as Street Fighter, the meta game, the underlying player, the people that actually know how to play the game strongly, it's even more fun than Street Fighter because you don't just spam
right.
combos. You have to use strategy, you have to use timing, you have to manage where your character is.
Yeah, it's easy enough that a little kid can figure out the game in their first try. While they're playing the game, like their first time playing it, they have figured it out. And then even they, after a while, like, oh, can I do this and this? You're like, yup. If you've ever played, honestly, if you've ever played Street Fighter, like old school Street Fighter, or like Street Fighter Alpha, or like if you play Street Fighter, you know how to play this game. If you've ever
So,
played Tekken, you know how to play this game. If you've
oh,
played Smash, you know how to play this game. Like it is, I take little aspects from like gameplay ideas from every general fighting game and put it behind this.
that's huge.
But I
Longevity,
made it super
like,
simple,
good.
but easier than Yu-Gi-Oh, easier than Pokemon, easier than Magic, and it plays like an arcade game because the fights, once you know how to play, they last maybe 5 to maybe 10 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
Like it's a quick match, not like Magic or Yu-Gi-Oh, where you could be there fighting for like half an hour to an hour. Like you know what I mean? Like you could just be in. I had like a couple of my homies one time. We went to, I think we went to like a restaurant or whatever, but we were like kind of waiting for our meal, and in between, we knocked out like 4 fights. Like, and that was like 10 15 minute wait for our food.
That's dope.
So, and you can play it at just about anywhere as long as you have enough space.
Hmm.
You can be like boom, 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 and then see here's when you do the level 1 tier. If you do the level 1 tier, you get the whole box, the whole collection, which is 123 cards.
Hmm.
And then there's different tiers where you can get stuff like you can get, how card games gotta have their play mats. So
Oh.
We got our own playmat. And this is only series 1 playmat. We're going to be making all different types of playmats and having different celebrity artists like we have on this one. We're going to have different celebrity artists like doing VT Hero playmats. I might even be hitting up one of my homies who is the director of Rick and Morty to do a Rick and Morty style VT Heroes playmat.
That's crazy.
So I got a lot of different artists who want to jump in on the project as it goes on. And this is only series 1.
Huh. Wow. That's freaking huge. Yo, how long? One, okay. I'm excited now, so I have to calm down because I'm trying to be a more calm, sensible, cerebral interviewer as opposed to just spamming all the time. So, 3 questions. Number 1, how the heck long did this take, yo? Number 2, the Kickstarter is up, so can you give us more info on that? And 3, you're an actual artist. So what was it like finding your artistic voice to be able to do this? And because 120 cards is a lot of freaking drawing. So yeah, those 3 questions.
Yeah.
Now I need to calm down.
No, it's all good, man. Look, I get excited about my stuff. I mean, I still collect stuff. I still have all my Marvel stuff. I got my own character stuff now. Like, yeah, I'll show you something real quick. I'm gonna bring it over. You know, like I get to live that real VT Heroes life. You know, like actual helmet.
That's tight.
Because we have a live action team. Like, there's actually gonna be. We're working on trying to put together the live action series, like web series. I know we're gonna be doing a bunch of live action old school commercials. And then we're actually going to do a version of the card game where instead of my actual hand-drawn art, it's going to be replaced with photos of the live-action cast. So it'll be the first, I think it might be one of the first like card games that actually uses like real photos. So you're going to see instead of the drawings of the characters doing the moves, it's going to be the actual actors in suits with the helmets and everything.
Dang. That's pretty freaking dope, dude. I'm very impressed. Wow.
And that's why we try and push that Kickstarter. We only have a week left. I mean, we met the goal, and we met our first stretch goal. We're almost at the end to reach our final stretch goal. And I just need maybe 10 people to just, even if 10 people to buy the level 1 tier, which is like a $40 thing, and that gives you the whole game.
Yeah.
If I can get 10 people to do that, we literally would reach every goal and couldn't go at that's it.
Huh.
Yep.
Wow. Okay then. We might have to do what we can to make sure that freaking happens. Because I'm trying to test the ability to move people right now. And I think the key, despite the fact that I don't like Twitter, I think Facebook is the key. Because I think Facebook is the place where people that actually have existences that buy stuff exist. Because Black Sands a long time ago told me stop marketing to people that are your age, start marketing to people that are older than you. But the problem is I couldn't find freaking people that were older than me that were freaking nerds. And then I met all of y'all, and after I met Charles fans, and I realized that Charles fans are in positions where because y'all have actually done things in life and gotten yourself into a cool position, now you get to enjoy being prosperous nerds that can actually afford things instead of sleeping in dorms eating ramen noodles every day.
Oh, look! I still do all my dope stuff. I get to travel. I work on films and all that stuff. But guess what? I still love ramen noodles, man. What are you talking about? I got some upstairs. You know what I mean? I get to hang out with the actual Power Rangers, and I get to hang out with some of the Marvel actors. That stuff is dope.
Indeed.
But you know what? We all like that ramen noodles, though.
This is true. Training, because the store that we were near while we were training, that was the only thing that could really fill me for cheap was ramen. So I figured out how to get the packets in there, and then season it extra because we were staying with Caribbeans and they come with all the seasonings. Then I'd put an avocado in it like you put an egg into ramen. And so we formed out like this whole system of having like delicious ramen. I've had ramen for a month now. Like life has been living like an anime character for the past couple months.
See?
Yeah.
See, you're doing it right. You're doing it right. Don't think that's like the don't look down on it. Trust me, it's awesome.
Indeed. What skills are you gunning for at this point? It seems like you're pretty solid in all the stuff that you're trying to do and are doing.
Right now, I mean, I'm just still working on the game. I will be working on the graphic novel for the game because we have this one big tier on for the game where you get to be canon to the story. You become one of the 9 heroes. So we get your face and we put your name in it. Like we put you in it, like officially. Like you're officially that character, and that means forever. So like when we do a movie or if we did an animation, that actor would be based on you, or that or the drawing and the animation that would be. It would look like you. You could always say that's me because it would say your name. They would have your name. That would be you.
That's dope.
So we sold. I know about 5 people. 5 out of the 9 have already been claimed. We're gonna see how many will get claimed. Like I said, we have a week left, and then we're gonna do something. I know I'm gonna have something set up where, for series 2, once we could open up and travel more and all that stuff, we're gonna start touring and doing tournaments of VT heroes. And the best in the country gets to pick from Series 2 which VT hero they want to be official, like they become an official character. So imagine like you playing, pretty much like if you were in Yu-Gi-Oh! Or if you were in Street Fighter, and you could literally select you. Like, that's what we're doing.
That's crazy. Huh. What was your experience like growing up into nerdy things? Did you have an easy time of it? Did you get to find community easily and like exist in those communities?
No. No, not at all.
Dang it.
Y'all got it so much easier. Y'all don't realize. I know a lot of people be like, "Oh, I feel alone" and all that stuff. Y'all just don't have your eyes open because y'all literally have online. y'all can go in a chat and talk to other people. We didn't have that. We didn't have conventions either. So there was no meetups, there was no conventions, there was no emails, there was no websites, there was nothing. To me, you literally was just by yourself. That was it. You might meet a friend in school who might be into the same stuff, but that meant the only time you'd see them is when you were at school. So, yeah, man, y'all got it good now. The fact that y'all could just watch anime anytime, man. I remember you could only go to certain like blockbusters or whatever, like movie, rental places, and they had literally one little like square of anime, and everybody had like the same 5. Every store had the same like 5 anime. That was it.
Dang.
So you weren't seeing anything that was being dropped in Japan. Like you didn't have a Crunchyroll. You didn't have all this stuff. You literally just like, all I know is Akira. There we go. That's it. Like,
But I remember, well, not to that extent, of course, but in libraries, when I was like 7, somebody showed me Dragon Ball for the first time. My brain exploded. So I wanted anime. Like, I wanted the anime style. And I'd go to the library and I was like, yo, I heard y'all got comic books that got anime in it. Where are they? And they take me to this little tiny corner in the darkest part of the library possible. And it would be like 5 books. And because they didn't have Naruto, they didn't have freaking Dragon, like nothing. They had no manga to speak of. All I had was the Legend of Zelda graphic novels from like Kodansha or something. And so I just take all the Zelda ones and just go there. And sometimes I go to another library and they'd have like one Naruto, they'd have one Dragon Ball. And now I go to the library and people don't even be going to the library no more. And you just have walls of One Punch Man and Bleach. And every Fairy Tail has like 90 volumes and they just have
Oh
them
yeah,
all right there.
but nobody's going to the libraries anymore. Like,
Of course not. I feel like I could. I feel like I could go into a library and just take a big stack of things and sneak out. And as long as I get past that censor, nobody would miss them.
but it's a shame though, because like that was like I don't see like people hanging out and like having. I remember there was a point where once you were able to get even American comics, you would get comics. You would meet up with friends and y'all would read comics and then talk about the characters and like people don't do that anymore, do they?
It's weird. I honestly don't know. The problem with having so much stuff available to us is that a lot of people don't take in the same stuff. Like there's a YouTube channel called Comics Explained where he like reads through
Oh yeah, I
comics.
know Comics Explained.
Yeah, Rob is freaking amazing. And so I'll instead of reading Marvel comics, I'll watch Rob's videos. But like that's because I don't necessarily like the direction that Marvel goes in with a lot of the writing for its comics. Whereas with DC, I will wait for a month or 2 months to go by sometime for one issue to come out, and I'll
Yeah,
read that, and I'll be like, "Hey, who reads Red Hood? I finally read Red Hood," and nobody reads Red Hood, and then I'm just stuck there. So I still feel alone because even my friends, even though they like certain characters, because they see them in so many media, they won't read the comic the character is in, but they'll like the character for being. So somebody will be like, Red Hood is my favorite superhero. And I'll be like, yes, I can talk to you about all these things, and I can't because they like Red Hood from the movie, or Red Hood from the cartoon, or Red Hood from the video game, but they don't know anything about him in the comic. And he's way doper in the comic. He's such a different. It's like trying to talk to somebody about X-Men. How X-Men's whole canon is jacked up. There's like 90 years of X-Men, and none of it is.
yeah. It depends on what era of X Men you enjoyed. I'm more of a '80s '90s fan of the X Men storylines. I liked Age of Apocalypse, like that was my era. But then there's people who like some of the the more recent runs of X Men. But it's tough, man. It's tough. It's tough to. I get what you're saying, where it's like everybody's into something different. It is because there's so many. It's like a blessing and a curse. We have so many avenues to go down and check out. Said one project. Say we take like X Men, and we could be like, "Oh man, I love X Men," but somebody's like, "Yeah, I only watch the cartoon," and some person is like, "Oh yeah, I only read the new comics." Some person's like, "I only read the old comics." Some people are like, "Yeah, I only play the game on mobile." Yeah,
Yeah.
but because they're all so different. But I mean, we should be going around and branching out and trying to find, like, if you like X Men in the game, check out the comic. If you like the cartoon, they have a version of the '90s cartoon as a comic too. So if you like the cartoon so much, you could go read that comic. It's literally, I think it's called like X Men '90s or something like that.
Huh.
And then DC has great animated movies. If you want to watch those, most of those are based off of graphic novels anyway. So if you like the story, go collect the graphic novel, and you'll see how different it is. Because Hush is different from the animated story of Batman. Hush is different from the comic one,
Sure
and
was.
I mean even though they tried to keep stuff similar, like Flashpoint is different as a comic run than it is as the animated movie. I like both, but they're different.
Yeah, there's so much that you can't fit into a movie and have the movie make sense because when you have a comic event and comic companies love their freaking events, especially American freaking comic companies. There's so many tie-ins and so many backstories and so many characters to juggle that you really can't accomplish. Even in a 3-hour movie, you can't get all of those details into it, nor should you, because it would just be weird.
Yeah. No, but that's it is what it is. So now this is why I'm pushing my game so much. This is why I'm trying to get it out there. Um, I'm just trying to make something that people can enjoy, something that's simple. All I need is those people to drop them $40, man.
Hey, I'm gonna help you, because if I run into somebody that knows about VT Heroes, we can immediately talk about VT Heroes. I don't have to be like, hey man, you play VT Heroes, right? And I'll be like, yes, I play VT Heroes. And we all know exactly what we're talking about. And we'll be able to, I'll be able to say, I got my cards right now, let's play. And we'll be able to play, as opposed to saying, you're into VT Heroes and I'm into VT Heroes, but you're into the spinoff that came out in freaking 1947, and I'm into the game that just came out today. Like, there's a clear canon because the foundation is being built. And so we get to get in on the foundation and grow as it grows, which is a really dope. It's like being at the beginning of this whole renaissance of like Black people making independent things that are actually good. Because I've gone back and read Milestone, and Milestone is not bad at all. But a lot of the Black stuff that was being made before and after Milestone pales in comparison, artistically and literarily.
Yeah, that happens. I mean, that happens. I'm hoping that people dig, VT Heroes. I mean, one, I promote. I went and did something different, because when people cosplay as Power Rangers, if you don't have the certain body type that matches like the show, people get ragged on for it. So I was like, you know what? I'm gonna give people that space to do that. So I started making different body types for the VT Heroes. Like, we have the VT Gray. He's a big guy. You know what I mean? He's like a big dude. We have VT Red. We have a lot of female VT Heroes. You don't see that in Rangers like that. It usually stops at 2.
Yep.
We have 4.
Oh.
Like, 4 out of the 9. So it's almost split.
That's dope.
And then we got a thick girl Ranger. Like, when have you ever seen that?
Never. They don't exist because nobody's making them.
Right? So there you go.
It's dope. When did you as an artist realize, because I don't like the term diversity as a buzzword just because I'm rebellious, but
I don't either.
Yeah.
And that was the problem. It's like, I wanted to do this stuff, but at the same time I was like, I don't want it to look like I'm preaching or I'm pandering to, like, oh, here, it's diverse, buy it because it's diverse. No, I did it. Like, I even made like Mad Diesel, like, here. Some of them are actually like Mad Diesel. The pink one's a dude in my story, and he's jacked. Him and the white one are jacked. But, like, I don't know, like, I definitely want to, back to your question. You were asking, like, how, like, why the whole diversity thing, and, like, yeah, I just literally saw people getting bullied and made fun of online so much in the cosplay scene. And I was like, yeah, why don't they have, like, a Husky Ranger? Like, it's possible.
Exactly.
You can't say that they wouldn't be flexible and be able to fight. Look at E-Honda. E-Honda's like one of the biggest dudes in Street Fighter, but he got the fastest hands. Like,
exactly. It's a model that's dead. A lot of stuff is being built off of dead models and dead ideals, that, because even how, like, superheroes are based off of, like, old school circus strongmen. We don't have freaking circus strongmen no more. The parameters for skill do not necessarily have a physical look. And because we live in a world that's not homogenized at all, we kind of need diversity. I don't like buzzwords, but diversity as the word that it is and what it means is incredibly necessary, because all the people that we're selling stuff to are literally diverse, and the world that we live in is literally diverse. So we as artists who
Yeah.
are depicting not only our imaginations but also the world that exists, we kind of have to utilize diversity. And it sucks that people have taken advantage of such a pure thing that's legitimately needed and used it to exploit people. But at its essence, at its root, diversity is necessary in order to create things that will have impact and actually be a positive effect in people's lives.
Yeah. Like I totally agree with you, because it's just like perfect example of that is like when you see a when they add a black character, and you're like, did they add a black character because they wanted to make an actual black character, or are they just trying to get black people to buy tickets?
That's my question with anime right now.
Yeah, because sometimes they'll be like, here's a black character, and then you like, but why'd you make his lips like that? Like, yeah. I did appreciate, I like studios that draw black people well. Studio Bones, because there was black characters in like Cowboy Bebop, and I never felt offended when I saw any of them. They always looked cool and interesting. Let's see. I do like My Hero. Their introduction of black folk, like that. The one new character, I can't think of his name right now, but he looks cool. Certain characters, yeah, certain animes, man. When they make black characters, man,
Yeah, they lips just be a circle with a line in the middle of them. It's jacked up. And this is a question for you on the term of diversity, because it's recently begun bothering me a lot. A year ago, I learned that in terms of the internet, it's more to your benefit to be a curator than to be a producer. Because if you can repost people's content, then that counts as your content too, and you do less work. And also, you get a bigger audience from it because you're a commentator, and so people comment with you instead of commenting to you, which makes them feel more connected and a part of a community. And so it's easier to build a community as a curator than it is as a producer, which sucks. But like, you did a smart thing. You made J1 Studios, and then you have VT Heroes. So as J1 Studios, you're commenting, and then as VT Heroes, you're producing. And I'm doing the same thing, as well as like being an artist, but also running the site and running in the site, being able to talk to people like yourself. And
yeah.
so I see a lot of the curators, a lot of the people who have massive numbers. I'll see them lauding when people outside of us make something for us, but I don't see the same appreciation when we're doing things. Why do you think that is the case? Do you think people are always expecting people that are not of us to throw us bones, or do you think that they legitimately feel more connected to things that are outside of us, and so that's what they display?
I think it's a little bit of there's no one set answer for that. Part of it is, now, are you asking if our people as like people of color are accepting of things like of like new POC characters, or why they don't support like indie black businesses and stuff
There
like that?
we go. There's the question. Yes.
Yeah, I mean that's the thing. It's really difficult and it's really weird. I noticed that, and especially lately, a lot of people talk the good game, and they'll be like, "Yeah, that's a great idea. I support that. That's dope." But they don't actually support it, and it's you want to make stuff. And I had a discussion with a couple other artists who are black folk, and we were sitting down talking about how we make stuff for our people, but we don't get the support as from our people like we do from everyone outside of our people. Like it's and then people like then our people will look at us and be like, "Oh, you selling out to them." And it's like, no, you ain't buying it. Like they are. Like, like
Right.
and yeah, it's a real thing. Like that it does exist, and it's tricky. It's really tricky because you're trying to find that balance on, representing you and who you are as a, as a person of color, and then you want to average it. I don't believe in you should only advertise to your people, like to just black folk. Make a thing that's appreciated by everybody. I mean, look at Marvel. It's appreciated by everybody. Same with DC. There's black. I love Spider Man. I mean, look behind me. Like I love Spider Man.
Feel you on that. I have that exact Mysterio comic somewhere upstairs.
Like
That's amazing. Wow. Yeah.
like I like Spider Man.
You have a fun existence. Wow. Yeah, that's dope.
Right?
And I feel that because you love Spider-Man, you might know this story that Todd McFarlane told. He wanted to do a story where he had this dude basically being belligerent to this black dude, mugging him and stuff, and Spider-Man swinging around the city. And Spider-Man looks down and he sees the person being called all types of names outside the Son of God, Porch Monkey, and all that nonsense. So Spider-Man comes down, and the mugger says, he's a black dude. He's not one of your heroes. Why do you care about him? And Spider-Man grabs him by the neck and says, what color do you think I am under the mask? And that's the power of you creating characters in an entity where people's physical identities are not apparent, is that the connection that people have to the characters is literally to the characters. And
Actually, that's why I made sure that you can't see their skin tone under any of the illustrations. Because I want you to imagine it's you.
Exactly.
I wanted you to imagine it's someone with your complexion. You know what I mean? Like, and then I wrote the story where they're actually digital, so then they don't actually have a skin underneath. They're just little, like, they're CG, like digital constructs. So yeah, because it's a fighting. They're not a team. VT Heroes is not a team. It's a tournament. These are the best of the different VT heroes from around the world meeting at this one championship match or this championship tournament. And they're going to battle to see who, wins the $10 million prize.
You bulletproof yourself. I like your existence.
So yeah, man, like this is what we do. This is what I'm doing. I'm here I'm making, pretty much I'm making Rangers for us. You know what I mean? Like Rangers that represent everybody. Making games that fit it. And then, I mean, that's the slogan is build the hero in you. That's the slogan for VT Heroes. So, just saying.
Freaking huge. Because there was a con I went to called AWA, and there's this company I forget the name of, but they had like these cool mechs and stuff. And the dude that was selling people stuff was this black dude. I'm talking to him and stuff, and I'm like, yeah, this is fire. Love your freaking merch, bro. The art is crazy. And then he's like, yeah, my brother made it. And I'm like, so a black dude made all this? And there's white people and Asians running around buying everything. They're loving everything that they're buying. And he's like, yeah, black dude made all this. They're robots, so like I don't get pigeonholed for being black, but yeah, black dude made all this.
Yeah, same thing with me. I pretty much created my own set of, best way to describe it, I made my own set of Power Rangers that, there's something for everyone to identify with because there's different type of body types. There's multiple women in it. You know what I mean? There's multiple female like characters in it. There's big dudes, there's little dudes, there's thick girls, there's skinny girls. There's a little bit of everything. So there's something for somebody to identify with. And then because they don't have actual skin or features, you can identify with any ranger or any of my what I call the heroes. And the thing is, you know I'm doing something right when the actual Power Rangers are like, I bang with this. Like I've done at my convention, we had Andros and Zane, which is the Red and Silver Ranger from Power Rangers in Space, present like do like an E3 style presentation of VT Heroes.
Wow.
So they got to battle each other, and we had like a camera like feeding like overhead to show what the game looks like, and they battled each other, and I was explaining the game, and it was really cool. And then I just did a couple lives with them, and they're up there like, yeah, we want to be a part of VT Heroes. We want in on VT Heroes in some way, shape, or form. So now I got at least now I think at least 3 or 4 different actual Power Rangers who want to be involved with VT Heroes.
Huh.
And then we have the live action. If we get more donations in, we have a week left. If we get more donations in, it could lead up to us working. Well, we work with a group called Common Ramen Studios.
Oh, GN now?
Yeah.
Oh.
They did a VT Heroes fight test.
Huh.
Go on their YouTube, and you'll see the VT Heroes fight test. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm saying everybody wants to be a part of this. The fact that we have a soundtrack that comes with certain levels with the Kickstarter, we have a soundtrack that has hip hop, rock, industrial, pop. Like we have like all kinds of music in there. Like, we got so many artists like Mega Ran, Sky Blue, Arson, the voice of reason. We got all these different talented people being a part. Even our intro, which is done by Fire, totally sounds like classic, like has that same high energy like that the original Rangers theme had, like with the guitar, man.
Huh.
And we are almost there. When I say we are almost there, we're like we're like 500. We met the goal in half an hour. Like when I launched it, within 30 minutes, it met the original goal.
Wow.
Yeah. So now we're at the point where we're trying to reach the final stretch goal. Literally, like we have like it's like $500 away from meeting the ultimate stretch goal, and that's what I'm trying to tell people. Like, jump on, go on our Kickstarter, and even if you don't want to get like all the cool stuff like the helmet, there's even hand painted like little collectible helmets that I hand paint, that I'm hand painting and shipping off to people. When you get that certain tier, I contact you, like which helmet color you want. Then I sit there and I paint it, coat it with the spray, hook it up, send it off to you. There's even a tier where you can get the production company will actually make a helmet of whatever color you want, and they'll get your measurements and make it so that it can fit your head, so you can actually wear it.
That's crazy.
And then you get the play mat, you get extra decks, you get the actual game. Obviously, you get the actual game. You get the soundtrack. You saw the play mat earlier. That was done by an animation studio. Bam.
Nap.
You get all that kind of stuff. I'm just saying. How do we get one? Yo, you can just go on the Instagram after this. Just hit up the VT Heroes Instagram. We have a link tree that takes you directly to the Kickstarter. And we have 7 days left, 6 days left, 7 days left. I guess they count it as 6 days left because, I accidentally launched it in the middle of the afternoon. So when I did it, but people were super hyped for this game. That when I accidentally launched it 2 days early, it still got funded within half an hour.
That's beautiful.
And some people who got that bread for that $1,000 tier, that's the big super tier. You get everything that we make, plus your face and your name becomes canon to the story. That means you'll be in the graphic novel. You'll be in any of the animations we do. If we do live action, we're going to find an actor that literally is like, that represents you. And they're going to have your name. Like, they're going to play you.
Wow.
So, yeah. That, I mean, you can't get any better than that. Like, only $1,000 to be official to a video game? Not even a side character. Like, one of the 9 main, like, characters of the story.
Huh. Well, dang. Huh. Okay. Snap. I'm rebooting my... Okay. This is going to be done. Number 1, I'm going to plug the heck out of all your stuff and spam the Blur Fleet chat so that everybody shares it. Number 2, I'm going to dip into the Power Rangers audience that I'm not supposed to be using right now. But for you, I'm going to make this sacrifice because I'm affiliated with I don't know if you know about Unworthy, but I'm affiliated with Unworthy.
Oh yeah, I know those guys over Unworthy.
Yeah, like I'm the Black Ranger there. So like I'm gonna go do that for you because we need more things like this. Not only do we need more things like this, but you're actually dope. So like you freaking deserve it. So yo, keep going super hard. There are 3 minutes left. Y'all gotta spend $1,000, fam.
You don't have to spend $1,000. There's different tiers. I mean, the first tier is $40. You can get that, and that gets you just the game. If you go on there, you'll see that there's different tiers where you get the play mat, you get the extra 4 decks, you get like the soundtrack, you get a little collectible head that's gonna be the little collectible helmet that I'll be putting in like our Etsy and all that stuff eventually. Then you get all these other things. You can get like, I know the some of the popular ones is the 100, and I think it's the 150. I think that's the one tier because it's like everything except for the big helmet. Like you get like the mini helmet and all the other stuff. Yeah, people get that one or the 120 one. Some people just get the I think the $60 or $80 one because it comes with like the game, the soundtrack, and a playmat. You know, like you can buy all this stuff later, but like do what you can now. I'm appreciative if you do even the $40 one because that brings us one step closer, and use it as Christmas gifts. You know, do the $40 one, but do a bunch of them, and then like, you know, buy those and give them all. I know one girl, she bought 4 of the $120 tier because she wants one because she wanted to play the game. She got one for her boyfriend because they all want their own deck. And then she bought one for his brother and then his best friend. So that now all 4 of them got like they gonna get it in. You know, and this is the first body positive Ranger based fighting card game ever. And it's made by a brother. Like, come on. Like, come on.
How could we not support, yo?
Right?
Snap. Oh, snap. It's 1 minute left. Okay, cool. So, anybody that sees this, whether it be in the past, the future, whatever, this is an extension that I'm going to make to you. Either DM this man and ask him for his freaking PayPal if you want to donate, or hit me and specifically say that you want to go into the fund of funding freaking VT Heroes, and all the stuff that go, like all the stuff that is sent will go directly to VT Heroes because freaking deserves it. I imagine you got PayPal or Cash App. So if you're accepting donations via PayPal or Cash App, even if people can't give you $40, they can give you something, and that gets this along so that stuff can be done and stuff can be funded and more projects like this can be made, and also this can be advanced because again, being able to have more things like this is crucially important, especially now, and it contributes to us normalizing having an imagination again. For a very long time, we've been conditioned not to go into our imagination or not to support the imaginative process, while also being expected to change our minds. You can't have an open mind if you don't have an active imagination, and people often forget that those two things are linked. So there are 58 seconds left. Is there anything you want to say to the people?
Yo, check it out. And actually, don't even worry about the Cash App. Don't worry about the PayPal. If you want to do something, help us reach that final goal. We are $500 away. So if everybody just did the $40 one, we could be like, if we get 10 people to do the $40 one, jump on that Kickstarter. VT Heroes, help support it.
All right. Thank you for coming to the live, bro. I greatly appreciate it.
No problem. Thank you.
Peace.
Peace.